Hello and welcome to another edition of Good Morning Pattaya, Pattaya Channel's very own breakfast show. I'm your host, Nick Pendrell, and joining me once again is my regular co-host, Carolyn. How are you doing today?
Very well, Nick, and you?
Very good, very
Excellent.
good.
Excellent. You're looking very serene, actually,
Serene.
today.
So I was about to say you're
calm.
radiant. Yeah. Yeah, obviously the pills are working.
Obviously, yes.
So our guest today is Bob from SLS Training Centre. Welcome to the show, Bob.
Good morning, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Lovely to see you. So we will start off by asking, what is your company all about?
The SLS Training Centre, well, we're a language school, but we're the new kids on the block, to be quite honest. We only obtained our licence from the Ministry of Education about 7 weeks ago.
Oh, right.
But we're based in South Pattaya, and being a language school, we obviously teach languages. You wouldn't be surprised at that. But we specialise in two areas. One is business English, which is very, very important at the moment for Thailand in view of the advent of the ASEAN community. And the other area we specialise in is teaching English as a foreign language, traiing teachers to actually teach English. And TEFL is a little bit of a minefield because it's an area of education that isn't regulated.
Yes.
There isn't any controlling body. Anybody can open a TEFL course. There's certain international standards. The course has to be 120 hours long, and it has to include at least 6 hours of evaluated teaching practice for our trainees in front of real students. But other than that, anybody can open a school. So that means there's many TEFL suppliers in Thailand. Some are good and some aren't so good. So if you decide to do a TEFL course, you have to be very careful who you select to actually train you. And we're really trying to get it right.
And is the one standard exam that they need to pass at the end of it?
Each course varies. Exams are an integral part of the course, but I always say that they're a necessary formality. We place far more importance on the actual evaluated teaching practice, because I'm a great believer that just because someone's academic or intellectual doesn't necessarily mean they're going to be a good teacher. Teaching is all about connecting with your students, sharing your personality. And some of the best teachers we produced have been plumbers, farmers, that sort of thing, and they've come across really well because they've had the personality to connect with their students, and that's what it's all about. So our course focuses very much on the practical side of teaching. Teaching people how to move around the room, how hand gestures can create energy in a classroom, how eye contact, keeps students alert. If students think that every few seconds the teacher's going to make eye contact with them, then it keeps them alert and keeps them focused and on task. So it's a 6-week course. We were very much aware that we were the new kids on the block, as I said earlier, and we needed credibility. So what we've actually done, we bought a licence to teach the Text and Talk TEFL course. Text and Talk Academy are based in Bangkok. They used to be in Pattaya. Their name's really synonymous with TEFL in Thailand. They've been around for since the 90s. Their course was the first, Thailand's original TEFL course, and the first course to be licensed by the Ministry of Education. So that sort of gives us credibility. I actually did their course back in 2004. And then I was their TEFL trainer for several years before I went and, took on other things. But so we're delighted to be able to advertise that and say that, this course is tried, it's tested, and it's trusted. And I think since it came about, since its beginning in the 1990s, about 4,000 people have graduated through the Text and Talk TEFL course and are pursuing successful careers as teachers. So TEFL, is very, very important. And also you need to ask important questions. What aspects of teaching does the course cover? How experienced are the instructors? Because a lot of TEFL courses, they train someone as a TEFL teacher, and then the next minute they're training TEFL trainees on how to teach. At SLS, me and my co-trainer, I hate to admit it, but we've got about 50 years of teaching experience between, make that 15, not 50. But it's true, you know, Killian Hayes is my oppo, and he was a teacher in England for more than 20 years.
Right.
I've been involved in training since the early 90s, and I've been teaching English and training TEFL teachers in Thailand for almost 10 years now.
Right.
So that's an area, you know, which we feel that we're very strong in, and we don't feel there's a lot of competition around at the moment. So it's just you know, like, this is a great opportunity for us to put our name
So you might be
forward.
new kids on the block in terms of the training centre, but you're
but
you're
we've
all
got
dogs when it comes to
yeah, you could put it like that, I suppose. Yeah.
the
A
actual
nice way to
skills
put it.
needed to do it properly.
No, it's true, and that's what you need. You do need the experience, because, you know, if people ask me a question in the classroom, I taught in one of the government schools for 2 years, so I can think of maybe a little anecdote to emphasise the point I'm putting across.
Yeah.
Or I've most probably been in that situation myself, so I can talk from experience. So that's very, very important, that the trainers who actually train the teachers know what they're doing, and they've got the experience to back it up. But the other area we've specialised in is business English, which English is very important to Thailand at the moment.
Definitely. Anywhere in the world, though.
Well, absolutely. I mean, you look at it as it's the nearest thing we've got to a global language. It's the lingua franca of aviation and business, and it's the selected, it's the chosen language of communication in the ASEAN community. It's English. So, and there's something called the English Proficiency Index, and it's a report which tries to rank countries on the English proficiency levels of adults. And it's compiled by a company called Education First, who are a global language training company. And they get their data from people that have taken a free internet test in English proficiency. The first report was published in 2011, there was one in 2012, and the current report was published last year, and it ranks 60 countries from grading them from high proficiency to very low. The top 5 are countries you would expect, like Norway, Denmark, Sweden, Holland, and Estonia, believe it or not, are in the top 5. Thailand come a very low 55.
Ooh, that is
They're
bad.
in the very low proficiency level. The only countries worse than Thailand are Saudi Arabia, Algeria, Kazakhstan, Panama, and Iraq, I think. So, you know, the Thais need English for their business, and this is an area where we feel we've got the expertise again to train people so that they do a better job in their actual business by using English properly. And it's a case where, you know, we'll conduct a needs analysis. We'll find out exactly what the staff use English for. Is there any special vocabulary that they use? Because, as you know, business is full of jargon. You know, what do they know already? What do they need to know? And from that sort of information, we can tailor the course to suit and fit in with each individual business's requirements.
So is this mostly a sort of business-to-business service that you're offering employers the opportunity, or is it for individuals who come
It covers the whole spectrum, really. We're targeting businesses. We've started with the Eastern Seaboard, the big companies out there, but it's something which the individual employees can come to the school, or we go out. Most of these companies have excellent training facilities, and that, so we'll actually do it on site for them. But it's essential. I mean, you look at things like exports, gross national income, ease of business. It all correlates positively to English proficiency. You know, the strongest economies in the world speak the best English. And you look at somewhere like Vietnam, who actually come in at number 29 on that list of 60 countries.
That they're that much higher than Thailand.
So the Thais have got a lot of catching up to do. Thaksin Shinawatra, many years ago, he realised this, and it was him that he was responsible for the explosion of need for English teachers in Thailand. He realised how low they were, and he said, I want every kid or every pupil in every government school in Thailand to have at least 1 hour's English language tuition from a native English speaker. And that was why, you know, it suddenly mushroomed this demand for English teachers, and I mean that's dropped off a little bit now in terms of the schools, but there is a need. There's a growing need for English training, which means there's a growing need for English teachers. So our business English project and our teacher training project, they very much go hand in hand with each other.
I guess you can pick the cream of the crop from.
Well, hopefully, and and that's another advantage. We all place teachers in businesses who we have trained, so we know that they're doing it right and they're doing it our way. So it's quite an exciting, if you can get exciting times in language and teaching, but it's quite an exciting time at the moment.
What do people generally struggle with the most when it comes to learning English?
The Thais, it's pronunciation.
Right.
They can conjugate a verb, they know grammar, but ask them to take something like milk, and it's meal. Ask them to say school, it's sakoon. And I used an advantage. My wife said to me, and she speaks excellent English, but she said, we need a new bell. She said, I need a new bell. And I said, ding dong, the bell works. She said, no, a new bell. I said, look, the bell works. And she said, no, I want a bell. I didn't say the T. So pronunciate, we're okay. We live here and we hear the Thais speak every day. So we get accustomed and we know what they mean exactly. But if they're speaking to... they're in import and export, they're speaking to an American in New York or something. He's not going to understand unless the pronunciation is perfect. So that really is, in answer to your question, Carolyn, it's the pronunciation which is the
key thing.
The key thing, very much so.
Well, that's the hardest thing about English. There's a lot of languages where you can just look at how a word's written and you know how to pronounce it immediately, but English, everything is...
well, that's right. And again, using Thai as an example, Thai doesn't have the language mechanisms, the language building mechanisms which we have. I mean, they don't, it's what they call an uninflected language. Words don't change their form. Like, for example, if I buy something, if I buy it yesterday, I bought it, the word changes its form for the meaning. Thais don't have that. So they would say, I buy something yesterday. And that's their past tense. So you've got to take all those sort of things. And that's something we do on the course. We specifically make our trainees aware of the different characteristics between Thai and English, and therefore they can anticipate the problems which the students are going to make. And by doing that, you're in a much better position to correct it and move them forward. So
is it just adults that you're training?
On the TEFL course, it's you've got to be 18 years of age, and you don't need any qualifications to do the course. You just need to be fluent in English. And we get a lot of non-native speakers, Scandinavians and Russians. We've had South Americans coming on the course, but providing they can speak English fluently, they stand, as good a chance as anybody, really.
I mean, in some ways, they can be better if they were taught very well, because I know I get friends ask me about strangeness in English, and I've got no idea why it's like
It's very
that.
true. You find that the Scandinavians, they know grammar better than native speakers. I mean, if I say I am running, I'm speaking in the present continuous verb tense. When I was at school, I wasn't taught that. I didn't need, I could use the verb tense perfectly well. I didn't need to know the rules. But you find that the non-native speakers know the rules. So when it comes to the grammar parts of the course, they fly through it.
One step ahead.
Believe it or not, very much so.
So, are you training any big companies at the moment you can mention?
We've only just started. We've got a dentist in Third Road, which we're starting at later next week. But it's very, very early days. We've only just literally opened. I didn't get my work permit until a couple of weeks ago. So it just things take a long time.
It does take time in Pattaya.
So, but now we're full steam ahead. We've got not an aggressive marketing campaign, I don't like that word. We've got a determined marketing campaign, and things like this is brilliant. What a great opportunity to let people know,
to let everybody know
who we are and what we're doing.
Okay. Well, we've explained to our viewers who you are and what you're doing and why you do it very well, but we need to know how they can get in contact with you.
If contact our website at slsthailand.com. slsthailand.com.
And that's got all the information.
And they'll have all the information they need, phone numbers, and or you can email us at info@slsthailand.com.
And your premises are exactly where?
We don't have a name for our soy, so we're calling it Soy SLS at the moment. But we're near the junction of Pattaya and Third Road. If you turn right, as if you're going towards Pattaya Clank. We're the second soy on the right-hand side, opposite soy 33. But
and that's where to find you, and the details are on the website.
We'd fitted out the building, and then we suddenly walked to the end of the street and thought,
hasn't got a name.
No number. Yeah.
Lovely. Bob, thank you very much for telling us. Good luck with the business. Sounds very exciting. And for our viewers, stay tuned for part 2.